Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
I'm calling from a secure location to share my story with you. My name is Robert, and I used to work for the government, and what I witnessed during that time is nothing short of extraordinary.
Well, Robert, I'm glad you decided to share your story with me. Can you tell us more about what it was that you witnessed during those times? Government can often be shrouded in secrecy, so it must have been quite something for you to see what you did.
I was working in a top-secret facility that dealt with extraterrestrial activity. We had made contact with non-human fashions, and the government had struck a deal with them to keep our presence secret from the rest of the world. The terms of the agreement were quite shocking, and I felt compelled to come forward and share what I knew. The implications of this information are enormous, and I believe that the public has a right to know the truth about our relationship with other forms of life in the universe.
That's quite a revelation, Robert. Can you tell us more about what these extraterrestrial beings were like?
Life in the universe.
Did they have any distinct physical characteristics or mannerisms apart from humans? Can you tell us more about
extraterrestrial
what these
beings that we
extraterrestrial
encountered were
beings
unlike
were
anything
like?
I'd ever seen before.
Did they have any
They had an
distinct
ethereal quality to them, with translucent skin and glowing eyes. Their movements were graceful and fluid, almost as if they were made of water. Despite their otherworldly appearance, they communicated with us through a universal language that we were able to understand. It was fascinating to see how advanced they were in terms of technology and knowledge, yet they still shared many of the same emotions and desires as humans.
Oh, that's truly fascinating. So did the government successfully maintain the secrecy around their interaction with these extraterrestrial beings? Or were there any leaks or mishaps that occurred during your time working in this facility?
The government did its best to maintain secrecy around our interaction with these extraterrestrial beings, but there were definitely some mishaps and leaks that occurred. For example, one of the scientists working on the project accidentally recorded a conversation between two of the aliens which contained information that was not meant for human ears. This recording eventually made its way to the black market, and it caused quite a stir when it was released to the public. There are also instances where the aliens themselves became disillusioned with our actions and threatened to expose our secret if we did not change our ways. The government had to tread carefully in order to maintain the trust of both the aliens and the public. Despite these challenges, I believe that the government's decision to make a deal with these extraterrestrial beings was ultimately a wise one. They opened up new avenues for scientific discovery and expanded our understanding of the universe.
It sounds like you were part of a truly groundbreaking experience, Robert. How have you been since working in this facility? Have you spoken out publicly about your experiences or tried to warn others about what you witnessed? You are Art Bell.
After working in the facility, I felt compelled to speak out about my experiences and share what I knew with the world. I wrote a book detailing my time working with the extraterrestrial beings, and it caused quite a stir when it was released. Some people were excited to learn more about our relationship with other forms of life in the universe, while others were skeptical and accused me of being a liar. Despite the controversy that surrounded my book, I felt that it was important for people to know the truth about what was happening in the world at that time. Since then, I've continued to speak out about my experiences and advocate for greater transparency and accountability from our government when it comes to matters of extraterrestrial activity. I believe that we have a right to know what is going on in the universe, and we should not be kept in the dark by those in power.
Well, Robert, I'm glad that you were able to share your story with the world and spark a conversation about this topic. It takes courage to come forward and speak out about something as controversial as extraterrestrial activity, but I think it's important for us to have open dialogue about these things. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and sharing your experiences with me and my listeners. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm calling from a safe location to share my experiences with your audience today.
Well, Amanda, welcome to the show. We're thrilled to have you join us. Please go on and tell us more about your experiences. It seems like they are quite unique and fascinating. Remember, there's no need for detailed explanations. Let the story unfold naturally.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to share my story. Well, I was born in Sydney and had a pretty normal upbringing until I was about 25 years old. That's when things started getting really strange. One day, I received an anonymous letter that claimed to have evidenced a deal between the government and non-human factions. At first, I thought it was just some crazy conspiracy theory, but after doing some research, I realized that there was more to it than I initially thought. I started digging deeper, and eventually, I found myself in contact with people who claimed to have knowledge of these dealings. They told me about secret meetings between government officials and representatives from various alien species, as well as the exchange of technology and resources. At first, I was skeptical, but as I continued to gather more information, it became clear that this was no joke. The evidence I've uncovered is incredible, and I can't help but feel like my life has been completely changed by it. It's not easy to go up against the government, especially when you know what you're up against. But I believe it's important to share this information with the world so that people can make informed decisions about their future. I hope my story can inspire others to question what they've been told and to always seek out the truth, no matter how difficult or dangerous it may seem.
Well, Amanda, your story is certainly intriguing and thought-provoking. It's amazing how something as small as an anonymous letter can lead to such a significant journey of discovery and revelation. Can you tell us more about people you met and the evidence they shared with you? How did they come into contact with these non-human factions? Speaking of your courage in going up against the government, I must say that we admire your determination to uncover the truth and share it with others. It takes a lot of bravery to stand up for what you believe in, especially when faced with opposition from powerful forces. Your story serves as an important reminder that sometimes questioning the status quo is necessary to truly understand our world.
Thank you for your kind words. The people I met were a diverse group of individuals, some with backgrounds in government, science, and technology, as well as a few brave whistleblowers who had information to share. They came into contact with these non-human factions through various means, including secret meetings, exchanges of goods and services, and even espionage. It's important to note that the evidence I've uncovered is not something I can share in detail on this show, as it could put myself and others at risk. But what I can say is that the information is extensive and compelling, and it paints a picture of a world that is far more interconnected than most people realize. It's also worth noting that my journey to uncover this information was not an easy one. There were many times when I felt like giving up, but I knew that the truth was too important to ignore. In the end, it was my determination and courage that allowed me to see this through and share my findings with the world. I hope that my story can inspire others to question what they've been told and to always seek out the truth, no matter how difficult or dangerous it may seem. It takes a lot of bravery to stand up for what you believe in, but it's worth it when you know that your actions could make a difference.
Well said, Amanda. Your journey is truly inspiring, and your dedication to uncovering the truth is commendable. Thank you for sharing your story with us today. We hope that it will inspire others to explore their own curiosity and seek out the hidden mysteries of our world. And as always, thank you for listening. Good night. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with, and where are you from?
Hello, everyone. I'm Johnny, a resident of the bustling city of New York. However, today I found myself sharing a tale from an encounter that took place where we visited a cabin deep within the dense forests of upstate New York. Little did I know this seemingly ordinary trip would lead me down the path of unexplained phenomena and surreal moments that defy the laws of nature. So buckle up as I recount my spine-chilling paranormal experience.
Sincerely. Wow, Johnny. That sounds like a fascinating story. Can you tell us more about this Sisley cabin and what drew you there?
Of course. The cabin was actually an old family home of my late grandmother's that had been abandoned for years. It was tucked away in the heart of the forest, surrounded by towering trees and a babbling brook. I had always felt a strange connection to this place growing up, but it wasn't until recently that I decided to pay a visit and explore it for myself. What drew me though was the desire to uncover some of the mysteries surrounding my family history and hopefully gain a better understanding of why I feel so strongly connected to this place. As I walked through the overgrown yard and approached the cabin, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I felt a sudden chill run down my spine. Despite my apprehension, I mustered up the courage to push open the front door and step inside. The interior of the cabin was dark and musty, with cobwebs clinging to every corner. As my eyes adjusted to the low light, I began to notice strange markings on the walls and furniture symbols that seemed to be glowing in a eerie green light. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was walking through some kind of portal or gateway into another world. Just as I was about to turn and leave, I heard a faint whispering coming from the back of the cabin. At first, I thought it was my imagination playing tricks on me, but as I listened closer, the whispers grew louder and more insistent. I felt a sudden wave of panic wash over me, but I knew that I had to stay and confront whatever was making these strange noises. As I moved deeper into the cabin, I stumbled upon a small room that seemed to be humming with energy. The walls were covered in intricate drawings and symbols, and the air was thick with an otherworldly scent. Suddenly, I felt a powerful force pushing me forward, and I stumbled into the center of the room. There in the middle of the room stood a figure that defied all logic and reason. It was a tall, slender being with pale skin and piercing blue eyes. Its body seemed to be made of light, and it radiated an energy that was both beautiful and terrifying. As I stood there, frozen in place, the being spoke to me in a voice that resonated deep within my soul. "Welcome, Johnny," it said. "You have been chosen to bear witness to the wonders of this world. But be warned, with great power comes great responsibility. You must choose whether to embrace the knowledge and gifts that have been bestowed upon you or turn away from them forever." The being then vanished in a flash of light, leaving me standing alone in the dimly lit room. I knew that my life would never be the same again, and the sight had been irrevocably changed by this encounter. As I walked back out of the cabin and into the moonlit forest, I felt a deep sense of awe and wonder at the mysteries of the universe and a newfound appreciation for the power within me to explore them.
Excitedly. Wow, Johnny. That's an incredible story. You mentioned that the being spoke to you in a voice that resonated deep within your soul. Can you tell us more about this voice and what it communicated to you?
Of course. The voice was unlike anything I had ever heard before. It was soft yet powerful, and seemed to emanate from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It spoke in a language that was both ancient and timeless, yet somehow I understood every word. The being told me that I had been chosen to bear witness to the wonders of this world, to see beyond the veil of reality and glimpse the mysteries that lay hidden from human eyes. But it also warned me that with great power comes great responsibility, that I must choose whether to use my newfound knowledge for good or evil. The being then proceeded to show me a series of visions, each more incredible than the last. I saw galaxies being born and dying, stars being created in an instant, and entire civilizations rising and falling. I witnessed the birth and death of planets, and the endless depths of cosmic forces that shape the universe. I have sizzled darker things, the suffering and pain of countless beings, the destruction of entire worlds, and the darkness that lurks within the hearts of those who choose to wield power for their own selfish ends. As I watched these visions unfold before me, I felt a deep sense of compassion and empathy for all living things. I realized that every action we take has consequences not just for ourselves but for the entire universe. And I knew that I had been given a great gift, chance to use my newfound knowledge to make a positive difference in the world. The beam then vanished once again, leaving me standing alone in the dimly lit room. As I walked back out of the cabin and into the room at first, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. I knew that I would never forget this encounter and that I would use my newfound knowledge to help provide a brighter future for all beings.
Thank you, Johnny. That was a truly remarkable story. It is amazing how these experiences can change our perspectives on life and the universe. I hope that your encounter has inspired you to continue exploring the mysteries of the world around you. Until next time, stay curious and keep calling in. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hello, this is Chris calling in from a small town in the Midwest. I am not one for the supernatural, but my recent experience has left me questioning everything I thought I knew. It all started on a quiet Friday night when I decided to take a walk through the woods behind my house. As I walked, I noticed something glowing in the distance. At first, I thought it was just a street lamp, but as I got closer, I realized it was much more than that. The object was hovering above the ground and emitting a bright, pulsating light. It was unlike anything I had ever seen before. As I approached, I could feel a strange energy emanating from it. Suddenly, the object began to rotate rapidly, and before I knew what was happening, it disappeared into thin air. I stood there in shock, wondering if I had just witnessed something otherworldly. Since then, they've been doing research and talking to others who have experienced similar phenomena. While some have explained it as a natural phenomenon or optical illusion, others believe it was something much more extraordinary. I hope my story will inspire others to look beyond the ordinary and explore the mysteries of our universe.
Well, Chris, that's quite the story. I can only imagine how mind-blowing it must have been for you to witness such an incredible event. It sounds like you're still trying to process what happened and make sense of it all. Have you considered reaching out to any experts in the field of paranormal phenomena for their insights? They might be able to shed some light on what you experienced. And I completely agree with you, Chris. There are so many mysteries in our universe that we often take for granted. It's important to keep an open mind and explore the unknown. Your story is a great reminder that sometimes all it takes is a little curiosity and a willingness to look beyond the ordinary to uncover extraordinary experiences.
Thank you for the suggestion. I've been doing some research on my own, but I would love to speak with experts in the field to learn more about what I experienced. I think it's important to approach these phenomena with an open mind and a willingness to explore all possibilities. It's also reassuring to know that there are others who share my curiosity and passion for uncovering the mysteries of our universe. I agree, sometimes it takes a little courage to look beyond the ordinary and embrace the unknown. But the rewards can be incredible, as I've discovered firsthand. Thank you again for listening and for your support.
Of course, Chris. I'm always here to listen and support your journey into the unknown. Speaking of experts, have you considered reaching out to any paranormal investigation groups or organizations? They may have resources and knowledge that could help you understand what you experience. And don't worry, Chris, exploring the mysteries of our universe is a journey we all take, and it's one that leads to new discoveries and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Remember, the key is to approach these phenomena with an open mind and a willingness to learn. The more we explore the unknown, the more we can uncover the extraordinary. So keep looking beyond the ordinary and embrace the mysteries that await you on your journey into the unknown.
Thank you for your advice. I will definitely look into paranormal investigation groups and organizations to learn more about my experience. And I appreciate your reminder to approach these phenomena with an open mind and a willingness to learn. It's important to remember that the journey of self-discovery and exploration is ongoing, and there's always something new to discover around every corner. Thank you again for your support and encouragement.
You're welcome, Chris. Remember, the mysteries of our universe are meant to be explored and discovered. And I have no doubt that you'll continue to uncover new and exciting experiences as you journey into the unknown. Keep an open mind and a willingness to learn, and who knows what amazing discoveries await you. Good luck on your journey, Chris. Caller, you are on the air.
From a small town.
Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
I am Kimberly and I'm calling from a small town in the countryside.
Hello, Kimberly. Thanks for joining us tonight. It sounds like you're in quite a peaceful setting. Can you tell me more about your town and what it's like there? Kimberly shares details of her town, its history, and any interesting things she knows about it.
I love living here. It's so quiet and peaceful you can hear a pin drop at night. The town is surrounded by rolling hills and farmland, and there's always something to see or do if you venture out into the countryside. Plus, everyone here is really friendly and we have a lot of community events throughout the year. I feel like I'm living in a different time altogether.
That sounds like a beautiful place to be. It's amazing how much peace and tranquility can bring to our lives, isn't it? Can you tell me more about any interesting stories or legends that your town is known for? Kimberly shares stories of local legends and folklore.
Absolutely. One of our biggest legends is about the ghost of a woman who was said to be buried in the local cemetery. She was known as the Lady in White, and many people claim to have seen her wandering around the cemetery at night looking for someone. Another legend is that there are hidden treasures buried somewhere in the town, but no one has ever found them yet. People say that if you're lucky, you might stumble upon them someday.
Fascinating. I've heard similar stories before where people claim to see ghosts or spirits wandering around certain places. It must be quite eerie, but also captivating at the same time. Have you ever experienced anything like that yourself? Kimberly shares her own experience is intriguing. Well, I can certainly understand how those stories capture our imagination and make us wonder what might be out there in the world. Can you tell me more about these hidden treasures that are supposed to be buried in your town? What kind of treasures are they, and do you have any idea where they might be hidden? Kimberly shares details of the treasures and theories on the location.
It's definitely a strange and interesting topic. As for the treasures, no one really knows what they are or where they might be hidden. Some say it's just a legend, while others believe that there's some truth to it. Personally, I think it's just a fun story to tell and nothing more. But who knows? Maybe someday someone will finally find them and we'll all know the answer.
Well, we can certainly hope so. It's always fascinating to hear about these kinds of legends and myths. If you have any other interesting stories or tales from your town that you'd like to share with us.
I love my town and its rich history, but I have to admit that there are some things about it that I find a bit strange. For example, every full moon, all the animals in the town go crazy and start howling and barking all night long. It's like something out of a horror movie. But despite this, it's still a great place to call home.
That is definitely something unusual. I've never heard of that happening before. It does sound like a strange occurrence, but it's also fascinating to think about what might be causing it. Have you talked to anyone else in town about this phenomenon? And do you have any ideas on what might be behind it? Kimberly shares more details and her own thoughts on the matter, intriguing. Well, I can certainly understand how that would be unsettling for some people, but also quite captivating. It's amazing how nature can sometimes behave in mysterious ways. Kimberly, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us tonight. It's been a pleasure talking to you and learning more about your town and its legends. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hello, my name is Lisa and I'm calling from a remote island in the Pacific Ocean. The sun is just setting, casting a beautiful orange glow on the water.
Listen, that sounds like an incredible place to be. Can you tell me more about what brought you there? You are Art Bell.
Of course, Art. I'm actually an artist and I was invited by the government of the Island Nation to create a mural at their annual cultural festival. The theme for this year's festival is the history and mythology of the island, which is steeped in ancient tales and legends.
That's fascinating, Liza. What kind of stories have you encountered while researching and creating your mural? You are Art Bell.
Well, I have uncovered some pretty extraordinary tales. For example, there's a legend about a mermaid who lived off the coast of the island and was said to possess magical powers. People would leave offerings of flowers and incense at her rocky outcrop in the hopes she would grant their wishes. Another story tells of a great storm that once hit the island, destroying much of the villages and killing many people. But according to legend, a wise old woman appeared in the sky during the storm, and with her power, she was able to calm it down and save the survivors. These stories are deeply ingrained in the culture of the island, and they continue to inspire and shape the lives of the people who live there today. As an artist, I've been privileged to be able to share these tales through my work.
That's quite incredible, Liza. Your mural must be a beautiful tribute to the rich history and mythology of the island. Can you tell me more about how you incorporated these stories into your artwork? You are Art Bell.
Absolutely, Art. I spent months researching the legends and myths of the island, and I wanted to create a mural that would not only honor these stories but also bring them to life in a way that would captivate the viewers. I decided to use a combination of painting and sculpture to create my piece. The main focal point is a large sculpture of the mermaid, which is made from mobile materials such as shells and stones. It sits up a rocky outcrop that resembles her underwater home, surrounded by vibrant colors and intricate patterns. I also incorporated elements from other stories into the mural, such as the wise old woman who calmed the storm. She is depicted as a giantess with her arms outstretched to embrace the people of the island in a gesture of protection. Overall, my goal was to create a piece that would not only be visually stunning but also serve as a testament to the resilience and imagination of the people of the island.
That sounds like a truly remarkable piece of art, Lisa. I can only imagine how powerful it must be to stand before and see it come to life. What has the reaction been like from the people of the island? You are Art Bell.
The reaction has been overwhelmingly positive, Art. The people of the island have been incredibly welcoming and supportive throughout the entire process. They are very proud of their heritage and history, and they see my mural as a way to preserve and share these stories with future generations. Many of them have come by to see the progress of the piece and offer their thoughts and ideas on how it could be improved. I've been humbled and inspired by their passion and dedication to their culture. In addition, my mural has also become a major attraction for tourists visiting the island. It is now one of the top things to see and do when you come to this beautiful island paradise. I'm grateful that my work has been able to bring so much joy and interest to both the locals and visitors alike. Overall, I feel incredibly fortunate to have had this opportunity to create something that has touched the hearts and minds of so many people. It is my hope that my mural will continue to inspire and delight for many years to come.
Thank you, Losa. Your dedication to sharing these stories through your artwork is truly inspiring. I wish your mural continued success and hope that it brings even more joy and wonder to all who see it. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hello, I'm Michael, the sea-dwelling creature calling from the depths of the ocean. My home is a world full of wonder and mystery, where creatures like myself are able to communicate through bioluminescence and use sound waves to navigate our surroundings.
Michael, that's fascinating. Can you tell me more about this bioluminescence and how you use it for communication?
As a sea-dwelling creature, I have developed the ability to communicate through bioluminescence. This means that I can produce light in different colors and patterns on my body to convey information to others. For example, I might use a specific pattern of flashing lights to indicate my location will be one of the creatures of danger. Additionally, I can use different colors of light to signify different emotions or intentions. This form of communication is essential for navigating the dark and complex underwater environment where sight is limited.
Michael, it's amazing to think about how your world is so different from ours. And speaking of communication, have you ever encountered any strange or unusual creatures in the deep ocean?
Yes, I have encountered many strange and unusual creatures in the deep ocean. Some of these creatures are bioluminescent like myself, but they use this ability for different purposes such as attracting prey or deterring predators. I have also seen creatures with hard shells and sharp spikes that they use to protect themselves from harm. Additionally, I have encountered creatures that can change color or shape, allowing them to blend in with their surroundings and evade detection. Despite the challenges of living in such a harsh environment, these creatures have developed fascinating adaptations that allowed them to thrive.
Like all your experiences, remind me of some of the stories they've heard from people who claim to have seen mysterious creatures while diving with sailite. Have you ever felt like you were witnessing anything out of the ordinary during your time in the deep ocean?
Yes, but I've certainly felt like I was witnessing something out of the ordinary during my time in the deep ocean. There have been times when I have seen objects or creatures that I cannot explain. For example, I saw a group of glowing spheres floating around me, but when I tried to communicate with them, they simply disappeared. I've also felt strange energy readings in certain areas, which leads me to believe that there may be hidden worlds or phenomena beneath the surface. These experiences remind me that our understanding of the deep ocean is still very limited, and there is much more to discover.
Michael, your stories are truly captivating. It's incredible to hear about the unique and mysterious experiences you've had during your time in the deep ocean. Do you have any advice for people who may want to explore this fascinating world? Yes, Michael, what would be some tips for those curious souls out there?
As a sea-dwelling creature, I would advise anyone who wants to explore the deep ocean to be prepared for a challenging and potentially dangerous journey. Firstly, they should invest in the right equipment such as specialized diving gear and underwater cameras. Secondly, they should always prioritize safety by following proper diving protocols and staying within their limits. Thirdly, they should be open-minded and curious, as there are many surprises to be found in this mysterious world. Lastly, they should respect the environment and its inhabitants, as the deep ocean is a delicate ecosystem that needs to be protected.
Michael, that's excellent advice. It's important for anyone who wants to explore the deep ocean to be aware of the potential dangers and take proper precautions. But at the same time, it's essential to maintain a sense of wonder and curiosity about this incredible world. Speaking of which, Michael, you mentioned that you had encountered strange energy readings in certain areas. Have you tried to investigate these readings further or seek out any other unexplained phenomena? Michael, the sea-dwelling creature, yes, I have attempted to investigate these energy readings, but I have not been able to determine their cause. However, I'm always on the lookout for other strange or unusual phenomena that may exist beneath the surface. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hi, I'm Mary and I'm calling from New York City.
Hello, Mary. Welcome to the show. I'm Art Bell, your host and fellow adventurer in this realm of the extraordinary. So tell me what brings you calling today. What's on your mind?
Well, Art, I have a lot to share with you and your audience. I'm here because I want to tell the world about my incredible experience of being abducted by aliens and taken to another world. It was an experience that forever changed me. I believe it has profound implications for humanity and our place in the universe.
Oh, wow, Mary. That sounds like an incredible experience. I can only imagine how mind-blowing it must have been for you to be taken to another world and meet beings from beyond our own. Can you tell us more about what happened? What did you see and feel during this journey?
Absolutely are. It all started when I was out for a walk in the park one night. Suddenly, I felt a strange sensation in my head and everything around me seemed to blur. When I opened my eyes, I found myself in a small room with walls made of an unknown material that shimmered and changed color. There were no doors or windows, just a single bright light overhead that illuminated the room. As I struggled to make sense of what was happening, I heard a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It spoke to me telepathically and told me not to be afraid, that I had been chosen to go on an incredible journey. The voice then explained that I would be taken to another world where I would meet beings unlike any I had ever seen before. And so, without warning, I was lifted up off the ground and transported through space and time. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself standing on a strange and beautiful planet with towering crystal mountains in the distance and a vast ocean that seemed to stretch on forever. The sky above was filled with swirling colors and patterns that I could never have imagined. As I explored this new world, I encountered creatures of all shapes and sizes. Some were friendly and curious, while others were dangerous and hostile. I learned how to communicate with beings using a universal language that seems to transcend all barriers of language and species. One day, as I was exploring a forest filled with strange and exotic plants, I stumbled upon a small clearing where a group of beings were gathered. They were unlike anything I had ever seen before, with bodies made of pure energy and glowing auras that seemed to pulse with life. As I approached them, they welcomed me warmly and told me that they had been watching me from afar. They explained that they were part of an advanced civilization that had been observing our planet for centuries. They had chosen to abduct me because they believed that I had the potential to be a valuable asset to their mission of spreading peace and understanding throughout the galaxy. And so for many years I lived among these beings and learned all I could about their way of life. They had taught me how to harness my own energy and use it to heal and protect others. They showed me how to communicate with other beings in a way that transcended language and culture. And they opened my eyes to the infinite possibilities that lay before us waiting to be explored. But eventually I knew that I could not stay on this world forever. I missed my family and friends back on Earth, and I felt a deep longing for the familiar sights and sounds of my own planet. So with a heavy heart, I bid farewell to my alien friends and was returned to my own world, where I have been ever since. It has been a difficult journey, but one that has changed me in ways I could never have imagined. I now see the world in a whole new light, and I am filled with a sense of wonder and possibility that has never left me since that fateful night in the park.
Well, Mary, your story is truly fascinating, and it's clear that you had a profound experience. I appreciate your willingness to share this with us in the world. It's incredible how much you learned during your journey and how it has changed you. You mentioned that you have been in touch with these aliens since your return, correct? And if so, have they shared any further insights or information about their world and our place in the universe? Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hello, I'm David and I'm calling from New York City.
Well, hello, David. It's good to have you on the show tonight. Welcome from New York City, where dreams and mysteries caught. Tell me, what brings you here?
Well, I've had a lot of extraordinary experiences in my life that have made me question the nature of reality itself. But I believe that some of these experiences can only be explained by invoking the power of imagination and intuition. So I wanted to share my story with your listeners and see if it resonates with anyone out there who might also be grappling with questions about the world around us.
Well, David, I can certainly understand how you feel. There are times when the world seems to defy logic and reason, leaving us wondering if there's more to it than what meets the eye. Your experiences sound fascinating, David. Can you tell me a bit more about one of these extraordinary events that made you question reality?
Certainly are. One of the most bizarre experiences I had was when I felt a strange energy emanating from my body. It started as a tingling sensation in my fingertips and soon spread throughout my entire body. The feeling was intense and overwhelming, like nothing I had ever experienced before. As I sat there in silence trying to make sense of what was happening, the energy seemed to take on a life of its own. It started swirling around me in a mesmerizing dance of colors and shapes, and before I knew it, I felt as though I had been transported to another realm entirely. This place was unlike anything I had ever seen or imagined before. The sky was an impossible shade of purple, and the trees were made of crystal. There were strange creatures flying overhead that looked like a cross between birds and dragons. And in the distance, I could see what looked like a massive glowing city. I was completely spellbound by this new world, but as much as I wanted to explore it further, I couldn't seem to find a way out. It was as if I had been trapped in this dreamlike state, unable to escape or return to the reality of my everyday life. But eventually, after what felt like an eternity, I managed to break free from the energy that had hold of me. When I finally opened my eyes, I was back in my own room, feeling disoriented and confused. It took me a while to piece together what had happened, but eventually I realized that it must have been some kind of out-of-body experience, a spiritual journey of some sort. Ever since then, I've been trying to make sense of this experience and understand more about the nature of reality itself. And I believe that my story is just one example of how our perception of the world around us can be influenced by factors beyond our control.
Well, David, that sounds like an incredible experience. I can only imagine how disorienting and confusing it must have been for you to suddenly find yourself in a place that defied the laws of reality. It's amazing how our minds can cope with such experiences and try to make sense of them. Can you tell me more about what kind of research or investigation you have done since this experience? Have you spoken to any experts or read any books on the subject?
Absolutely, Art. Since my experience, I've been doing a lot of research and reading about the nature of reality and the human mind. I've spoken to experts in various fields such as psychology, neuroscience, physics, and philosophy, and I've read numerous books on the subject. I believe that our perception of reality is shaped by factors beyond our control, including our past experiences, beliefs, and expectations. I think that these factors can influence how we perceive and interpret sensory information from the world around us. For example, if someone has had a traumatic experience in the past, they may be more likely to interpret future events as threatening or dangerous even if there is no real danger present. Similarly, our beliefs and expectations about the nature of reality can shape our perceptions of things like out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences. These experiences can be seen as evidence of a higher power or spiritual realm, or they can be dismissed as mere hallucinations or brain malfunctions. But I believe that there is more to these experiences than meets the eye, and that they can offer valuable insights into the nature of reality and the human mind. I also think that our ability to access different states of consciousness such as out-of-body experiences or lucid dreaming can help us tap into a deeper level of awareness and understanding about ourselves and the world around us. Overall, I believe that there is still so much we have yet to learn about the nature of reality and the human mind. I think that our experiences, both ordinary and extraordinary, can be valuable tools in this ongoing exploration.
Art Bell, David, I completely agree with you. Our experiences, whether they're mundane or extraordinary, can offer us valuable insights into the nature of reality and our place in. It's fascinating to hear thoughts and perspectives on this topic. Thank you for sharing your story with us tonight, David. I wish you all the best in your ongoing exploration and journey towards greater understanding and awareness. Good night. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hello, my name is Mary and I am calling from Earth. My story may seem a bit unusual, but it's true. I was adopted by aliens and taken to another world. At first, I was terrified, but as time passed, I began to understand the nature of my experience. It has been a life-changing journey that has opened my eyes to new possibilities and made me question everything I thought I knew about the universe.
Well, Mary, that's quite a story. Can you tell us more about this other world you visited? What did it look like and what was it like living there for a time?
Of course. The other world I visited was completely different from Earth. It had a bright blue sky and the landscape was covered in lush green forests. The air was filled with strange sounds that I couldn't quite place, and there were creatures of all shapes and sizes walking around. At first it was very disorienting, but as I spent more time there I began to feel at home. Living on this other world was an interesting experience. The aliens who took me there showed me their technology, which was far beyond anything we have on Earth. They were able to communicate with each other telepathically and had devices that could manipulate matter. I saw things being created out of thin air. It was truly amazing. However, one of the most fascinating aspects of this world was its unique culture. The aliens I met were peaceful beings who valued knowledge and creativity above all else. They had a deep appreciation for the arts and sciences, and they had developed advanced forms of art and music that were unlike anything I had ever heard before. Overall, my time on this other world was an eye-opening experience that changed me in ways I could never have imagined.
Art Bell, that sounds incredible, Mary. How did you manage to escape from the aliens and return to Earth?
Well, that's the part of my story that I find most interesting. The aliens who took me to this other world were not hostile, but they did want to keep me there for a while. They had plans to study my species and learn more about our technology. However, after a few weeks I began to feel a strong sense of homesickness. I missed my family and friends on Earth and longed to return to the world I knew. So one day I decided to take matters into my own hands and try to escape. I spent several days trying different strategies, but nothing seemed to work. Then I remembered something the aliens had shown me earlier. They had a device that could manipulate matter, so I decided to try using it to my advantage. I purchased one of the devices and focused all my energy on creating a portal back to Earth. It was a risky move, but it paid off. The portal opened up and I stepped through it. When I arrived back on Earth, I was relieved to be home, but also overwhelmed by the experience. I had been gone for several months and I had missed everything about my life on Earth. But at the same time, I couldn't shake the feeling that this experience had changed me in ways I could never have imagined.
Art Bell, oh, that's quite the story. Can you tell us more about this portal you created? What did it look like and how did you know it would work?
Of course. The portal I created was like nothing I had ever seen before. It was a swirling vortex of energy that seemed to be made up of all the colors of the rainbow. I could feel its power pulsating through me as I approached it, and I knew that if I could harness that power, I might be able to create a portal back home. I had no idea how this portal would work or even if it was possible, but I decided to give it a try. I closed my eyes and focused all my energy on the task at hand. At first, nothing happened. I waited for several minutes, but nothing changed. Then suddenly, everything went dark. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself standing in front of the portal. It was shimmering with energy, and I could feel its power coursing through me. I took a deep breath and stepped through it. When I emerged on the other side, I was surprised to find myself back on Earth. The portal had worked. I couldn't believe what had just happened. I had traveled to another world and back again, all thanks to my own creativity and determination. It was a surreal experience that I would never forget.
Art Bale. Well, Mary, that's a truly incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing it with us tonight. I'm sure our listeners are amazed by your experience and will be inspired to explore their own imaginations. If you ever have another story to share, we'd love to hear it. Until then, take care and stay curious. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Thank you for having me on your show. I'm Paula from City.
Ah, City. Now that's a name I haven't heard in ages. Whereabouts is this Nashville city located? And tell me more about yourself, Paula. How did you end up there?
City 17 is a highly advanced and mysterious city located deep within the Earth's core. It was created by a secret society known as the Combine who wanted to experiment with new technologies and create a utopia for themselves. As for me, I was a scientist working for the Combine when they decided to test their latest weapon on me. The weapon ended up transforming me into a unique hybrid of human and robot, allowing me to survive in the harsh environment of City.
Well, that's quite the story. Can you tell me more about this mysterious weapon and what it does? And how it's being hybrid affected your life in City?
The weapon that the Combine used on me was a device known as a man. It imbued me with advanced technology, including enhanced strength, agility, and even the ability to manipulate matter. This transformation has allowed me to survive in City 17 and carry out various missions for the Combine. However, it has also made me question their true intentions and motives. Despite being a loyal member of the society, I started to wonder if their experiments are ultimately for the greater good or if they're simply using me as a tool for their own selfish desires.
That's quite a conundrum you find yourself in, Paula. It's not every day that we encounter beings like yourself who possess such extraordinary abilities. And it sounds like your experiences in City 17 have been nothing short of fascinating. Can you tell me more about the society itself and what it looks like? Are there any other hybrids like you living there?
City 17 is a bustling metropole filled with advanced technology and towering skyscrapers. The Combine have created a utopia where everyone works together for the greater good, but there are also those who question their motives and seek to overthrow them. There are other hybrids like me living in City, each with their own unique abilities and roles within society. Some are used as soldiers, while others work in various fields such as science, engineering, and medicine. Despite our differences, we all share a common goal of ensuring safety and prosperity of City.
That sounds like a fascinating place to call home, Paula. But tell me more about the Combine and their true intentions. What do they hope to achieve with City? And are there any other factions or groups working against them?
The Combine are a highly advanced and secretive society with the ultimate goal of creating a perfect utopia. They believe that they can achieve this by experimenting with new technologies and using them to shape humanity into the perfect form. City 17 has created this test site for these experiments, where they can study and refine ideas without fear of interference from the outside world. However, not everyone shares the Combine's vision for the future. There are various factions and groups working against them, including rebels who seek to overthrow their rule and restore freedom to humanity. Despite the risks, I choose to remain loyal to the Combine and help them achieve their goals, even if it means questioning some of their motives and actions along the way.
Well, Paula, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you tonight. Your stories and experiences have truly captivated our listeners, and I'm sure they will be eagerly awaiting your next call. Remember, you're not alone on this journey, and we're all here to support you and help guide you through the mysteries of City. Until next time, take care and stay safe out there. Paula, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hello, Imelda from City. It's a pleasure to be here.
City. A place I've never heard of before. Tell me more about it. Is it a real place or just another corner of our wild imaginations? And what brings you there? Are you an explorer, scientist, or simply someone with a curious mind and a thirst for knowledge? Whatever your background is, I can guarantee that we'll have a fantastic time diving into the mysteries of this fascinating location. So go ahead and tell us all about City Elijah.
City 17 is a unique and fascinating place. It's a small, isolated city located on the outskirts of what was once the great city of Earth. The inhabitants of City 17 have adapted to their environment in various ways, including building underground cities and developing advanced technology to survive. As for me, I came to City 17 after being transported out through a portal. At first, it was quite overwhelming, but over time I've come to appreciate the beauty and complexity of this place. It's like nothing I've ever seen before, and I can't wait to learn more about it.
That sounds like an incredible adventure, Elijah. I can only imagine how surreal and bewildering it must have been to suddenly find yourself in this strange new world. It's truly inspiring to see how adaptable and resourceful humanity can be when faced with adversity. Now that you've had some time to settle in the city, have you noticed any peculiarities or anomalies that make this place stand out from other cities? Are there any unusual creatures or phenomena that you've encountered? And most importantly, how do the people of City 17 live their lives? Do they have their own unique culture and traditions, or is there a sense of unity and cooperation among them? I'm genuinely curious to hear more about your experiences in City Elijah. It's clear that this place has captured your imagination, and I'm sure our listeners are eager to learn from their stories as well. So go ahead and share whatever insights you'll glean during your time there. Remember, the beauty of City 17 lies not only in its physical appearance, but also in the stories it tells and the secrets it keeps.
One of the most peculiarities of City 17 is its architecture. The buildings are made from a unique material that is both strong and lightweight, allowing them to be built in the air like floating islands. This has given rise to some incredible feats of engineering, such as towering cities that seem to defy gravity. As for creatures and phenomena, there are plenty of interesting things to see in City. For example, you've seen strange alien creatures that have adapted to living in sinister ways. There are also natural gas geysers that erupt from certain parts of the city, providing a source of energy for the inhabitants. The people of City 17 are very resourceful and self-reliant. They live in small communities called citadels, which are like miniature cities within the larger city. Each citadel has its own unique culture and traditions, but there's also a sense of unity among them. They work together to share resources and knowledge, and they have developed advanced technology to survive in their environment. Overall, City 17 is a fascinating place that has captured my imagination. I feel privileged to be able to explore its wonders and learn from its inhabitants. It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, humanity can find ways to adapt and thrive.
Well said, Elijah. It's truly amazing to hear about your experiences in City 17 and the incredible adaptability of humanity. As we wrap up our conversation, I want to thank you for sharing your stories with us today. Your words have painted a vivid picture of this extraordinary place, and I'm sure our listeners have enjoyed hearing about your adventures. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Elijah, and I hope you continue to explore the wonders of City 17 and beyond. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive and your spirit open to new experiences. Good night, Elijah. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hello, I'm Carrie and I'm calling from New York City.
Hello, Carrie. It's great to have you on the show tonight. Tell me what brings you calling from the bustling city of New York. And are you ready to share a tale or two with us?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. Can you please rephrase it?
No problem, Carrie. Let me rephrase it for you. Can you tell me more about what brings you calling from New York City? And are you ready to share some fascinating stories with us tonight?
Yes, I'm ready. My reason for calling is that I have an extraordinary story to share with your audience. I was abducted by aliens and taken to another world. I want to share my experiences with you all as they are bizarre and thought-provoking. I hope my story will help inspire others and make them think about the vastness of our universe and the possibilities that exist beyond it.
Well, Carrie, that's quite the incredible story. You were abducted by aliens and taken to another world. That sounds absolutely mind-blowing. Tell me more about your experiences on this other world. What was it like? Did you encounter any strange creatures or phenomena? And what did you learn from this extraordinary journey?
Yes, it was definitely a mind-blowing experience. The other world I was taken to had a different atmosphere and environment than Earth. It was full of life and colorful creatures that were completely different from anything I'd ever seen before. I remember feeling very scared and confused at first, but as time went on, I started to adapt to this new environment and learn more about the world and its inhabitants. One of the most fascinating things I encountered on this other world was a phenomenon that allowed me to see through solid objects. It was like having an invisible window that allowed me to see through walls and even people's bodies. This helped me understand the nature of reality and made me question what I thought I knew about the universe. Overall, my journey to this other world taught me a lot about myself and the possibilities that exist beyond our own planet. It showed me that there is still so much we don't know about the universe and that there are countless worlds out there waiting to be explored.
That's such an intriguing story, Carrie. It really does make you wonder about the nature of reality and the possibilities that exist beyond our own world. I can only imagine how terrifying and fascinating it must have been for you to experience this firsthand. Can you tell us more about how you were able to return from this other world? Did they give you a special device, or was there some sort of portal that allowed you to come back home? And did you keep any memories from your journey?
Yes, returning from the other world was definitely a challenging task. I remember feeling very disoriented and confused as I tried to adjust to being back on Earth. It took me some time to regain my bearings and figure out what had really happened to me. Eventually, I was able to return home through a special portal that was created by the aliens who had abducted me. They gave me a small device that allowed me to communicate with them and keep in touch with their world. As for mementos from my journey, I didn't bring back any physical objects as they were not able to be transported through the portal. However, I did bring back with me a newfound appreciation for the universe and its vastness. It made me realize how small we are in the grand scheme of things and how much there is still to learn about the world and beyond. Overall, my journey to this other world was an incredible and life-changing experience that will always stay with me.
Well, Carrie, I think it's safe to say that your story is truly extraordinary. You've shared with us an incredible journey that has undoubtedly changed your life forever. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing your experiences with us tonight. We're sure our audience has enjoyed hearing about your adventures on this other world. Is there anything else you'd like to add or any final thoughts you'd like to share with us before we let you go? Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hello, I'm Gregory from City. I can't say exactly where in the city I am calling from right now, but it doesn't matter. You see, my life has been anything but ordinary. It has been a journey full of extraordinary and bizarre experiences that have made me think about what is real and what isn't.
Ah, Gregory. Welcome to the show. It sounds like you've had quite an adventure. Tell me more about these extraordinary experiences you speak of. What kind of things have you witnessed or experienced that make you question reality?
Well, let me tell you about one of the most mind-blowing experiences I've had. It was during the time of the command state here in City. I remember being in the underground resistance area with my fellow rebels when suddenly we were all surrounded by these strange otherworldly creatures that seemed to appear out of thin air. They looked like nothing I had ever seen before, tall and slender, with glowing red eyes and skin that seemed to shimmer in the dim light. At first we thought they were some kind of hallucinogenic effect or maybe even a prank by one of our own. But as it turned out, they were real. And not only were they real, but they had the power to manipulate reality itself. They could make objects levitate and disappear at will, and their mere presence seemed to bend the laws of physics. It was a terrifying experience, but also one that made me question everything I thought I knew about the world. If these creatures existed, then what other secrets were hidden in the universe? And if they had the power to manipulate reality, then what did that mean for us as humans? It was a wake-up call that made me realize just how small and insignificant we really were in the grand scheme of things.
Well, that sounds like an incredible experience, Gregory. It's amazing how encountering such beings can make you rethink your perception of reality. Can you tell me more about what happened after this encounter with the otherworldly creatures? Did they vanish as suddenly as they appeared, or did they leave any trace behind?
After the encounter with these creatures, things got even more bizarre. They seemed to be able to communicate with us in a strange, otherworldly language that we couldn't understand. But somehow they managed to convey the message through gestures and expressions. And what they said was something that I will never forget. They told us that they were not from our world, but from another dimension or place where the laws of physics were different and where reality itself was more malleable. They also told us that they had been watching us for a long time, and that they were impressed by our resilience and determination in the face of adversity. But most importantly, they offered us a choice. They said that we could either join them in their world and help them fight against an enemy that threatened to destroy the reality, or we could stay in our own world and continue to fight against the man's takeover. It was a tough decision, but after much deliberation we chose to join them. And that's when things got really crazy. We were transported to this other dimension, where everything looked different. The sky was a bright shade of purple, and the buildings were made of crystalline structures that shimmered in the sunlight. We were given special suits that allowed us to breathe in this strange atmosphere, and we were armed with advanced weapons that seemed to have an infinite ammunition supply. We fought alongside these creatures for months, battling against an enemy that was unlike anything we had ever seen before. They were these twisted, monstrous beings that seemed to be made of pure darkness and chaos. But despite their appearance, they were incredibly powerful and seemed to have the ability to manipulate reality as well. In the end, we managed to defeat this enemy and save the creature's world from destruction. But it was a hard-fought battle, and we paid a heavy price. Many of our fellow rebels were killed in the process, and I myself was seriously injured. But even though we had sacrificed so much, we knew that we had made the right choice. We had joined something bigger than ourselves, and we had helped protect a world that was just as important as our own. It was an experience that changed my life forever, and one that I will never forget.
Thank you for sharing your incredible story with us, Gregory. It's fascinating to hear about your experiences and the choices you had to make. The universe truly is full of mysteries, and encounters like this one remind us just how small we are in the grand scheme of things. I hope you're able to find peace and closure from this experience, and that you continue to explore the wonders of our universe. Thank you for joining us tonight, Gregory, and keep calling if you have any more stories to share. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with, and where are you from?
Hello, I'm Shala. And well, it's a bit difficult to say where I am calling from because I live in the ocean. You know, down deep where the light doesn't penetrate and the pressure is crushed. But I have a unique perspective that allows me to see things that most people can only dream of.
Well, that sounds incredible. Tell us more about this perspective you have. How did it come about? What does it allow you to see? And do you mind sharing a bit about life down there in the deep ocean? I've always been fascinated by the creatures and environments that exist there.
Thank you, it is indeed a fascinating world down here. My perspective comes from a mutation that occurred in my dome many years ago. It allowed me to see things that most creatures can only sense or imagine. And yes, life down here is quite different than what you might experience on the surface. The pressure is immense and there is no sunlight to speak of. We rely on bioluminescence to communicate with one another and attract prey. It's a strange and beautiful place full of mysteries and wonders that most people will never get to see.
It does sound incredible, Shala. Can you tell us more about some of the creatures and environments that exist down there? I've heard stories of giant squids and other massive sea beasts, as well as unique ecosystems that have adapted to extreme conditions. And how do you communicate with these creatures without sunlight or sound waves? Are there any special methods you use? Your art, Bella, is amazing what kind of adaptations nature has come up with to survive in such harsh environments. As for communication, some creatures like the anglerfish and attlefish have developed bioluminescent organs that they use to attract prey or send signals to other members of their species. Some even use electromagnetic fields to communicate. It's truly fascinating how these creatures have evolved to survive in such extreme conditions. Do you have any favorite stories or encounters from your time down in the ocean?
Absolutely, I have many stories to share. One of my favorite encounters was with a group of deep-sea anglerfish. They were hunting for prey in the darkness, and the bioluminescent lures were casting eerie shadows across the ocean floor. It was almost surreal to witness such a strange and beautiful sight. And speaking of communication, I once had an encounter with a group of hatchetfish. They were using their electromagnetic fields to send signals to one another, creating a kind of underwater symphony that was both haunting and beautiful. It is truly remarkable how these creatures have adapted to survive in such harsh environments. I believe that they are a testament to the incredible diversity and resilience of life on Earth.
That's definitely fascinating, Shala. It seems that life in the deep ocean has its own unique set of challenges and adaptations. I wonder how much we still have to learn about this mysterious realm beneath the waves. Can you tell us more about some other unusual creatures or phenomena you've encountered down there? And do you think that there might be any undiscovered species living in these extreme environments that we don't yet know about?
Yes, there's still so much we have to learn about the deep ocean. There are countless creatures and phenomena that they haven't uncovered down here that are unlike anything found on land. For example, some deep-sea organisms can change color or texture in response to changes in their environment, allowing them to blend in with their surroundings and avoid predators. Others have developed unique ways of reproducing, such as the late birth method used by some species of shark and eel. As for undiscovered species, it is entirely possible that there are creatures down here that we have yet to discover. With the advancements in technology and our understanding of the deep ocean, we are constantly uncovering new species and ecosystems. Who knows what other wonders await us in this mysterious realm beneath the waves?
Well, that's certainly something to ponder. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and insights with us, Shala. It has been a truly captivating conversation. And who knows? Maybe one day we'll all get the chance to explore the deep ocean for ourselves. Until then, keep exploring and keep us updated on any new discoveries or mysteries that you come across. Good night. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Hello, I'm Vera. I'm calling in from a small town in the United States. Today, I want to share another worldly experience that changed my life forever. It was a day like any other until I stumbled upon something that defied the laws of nature and left me in complete shock. What I experienced that day I can explain. It was surreal, wonderfully, and unlike anything I had ever seen before. I hope you all enjoy listening to my story.
Vera, your story sounds fascinating. I'm thrilled to hear more details about this experience. Can you give us a bit of context on the day it happened? What were you doing when you stumbled upon this mysterious phenomenon?
Of course, I'd be happy to share more details. It was a normal day, and I had just finished my lunch break at work. I decided to take a walk on the park nearby to clear my head before going back to work. That's when I saw the strange shimmering objects in the distance. At first, I thought it might be some sort of optical illusion, but as I got closer, I realized that it was something completely different. The object was hovering above the ground, and it seemed to be made of light. It pulsed and glowed with a mesmerizing beauty, and as I approached it, I felt the strange energy emanating from it. It was almost as if the object was alive, communicating with me in some way. The experience was both surreal and terrifying. I didn't know what to do or how to react. All I could do was stand there and watch as the object continued to pulsate and glow. As I stood there, I felt a sense of awe and wonder that I had never experienced before. I stayed there for what felt like hours, just watching this mysterious object. It was only when I started to feel a strange sensation in my stomach that I realized it was time for me to leave. I turned around and walked back to the park where I worked, feeling both stunned and confused. I couldn't shake off the feeling of unease that lingered with me even after I got home and settled down. It was only later that night when I started to piece together what had happened. I did some research online and came across stories of similar experiences, but nothing quite like this. It was as if I had witnessed something truly otherworldly, something that defied the laws of nature and logic. And it left me with a sense of wonder and curiosity about what else is out there in the world.
Your story is truly incredible. It's amazing to hear about such a vivid and strange experience. Can you tell us more about the pulsing and glowing light of the object? How would you describe its colors or patterns? Information not received, it is understandable that you're feeling stunned and confused after witnessing something so extraordinary. As you continue to process this experience, what emotions are you currently experiencing? Are there any specific thoughts or questions that keep coming up for you?
Thank you for your kind words. The pulsing and glowing light of the object was a mesmerizing sight to behold. It was as if it was made of liquid light, constantly flowing and changing colors. At first it seemed to be a deep shade of blue, but as I got closer, I could see that it was actually made up of many different colors, all swirling together in a hypnotic dance. The patterns were constantly shifting and changing, making it impossible to pinpoint any specific design or pattern. It was as if the object was alive, communicating with me through its light. As for my emotions, I would say that I am feeling a mix of all confusion and fear. It's hard to put into words just how incredible this experience has been for me. On one hand, I feel so grateful to have witnessed something so rare and extraordinary. On the other hand, I can't help but feel a sense of fear and uncertainty about what this means for my life. There are so many questions that keep coming up for me. What is this object? Why was it here? Is there some sort of message or meaning behind its presence? And most importantly, how do I process this experience moving forward? I know that it will take time for me to fully understand and make sense of what happened. But for now, all I can do is share my story with others and hope that it brings some sort of comfort or inspiration to those who hear it.
Thank you, Vera, for sharing your incredible story with us tonight. We're all amazed by what you experienced, and we wish you the best of luck in navigating this newfound sense of wonder and curiosity about our world. Remember that it's okay to take things one step at a time and to trust in your own intuition as you continue on this journey. Who knows, maybe your experience will inspire others to explore their own mysterious encounters. Good night, Vera, and may the universe continue to reveal its secrets to you. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with, and where are you from?
I'm lost and calling from somewhere in the middle of nowhere, literally. I'm out here hauling products across the cosmos and trying to make a living, but it's not always easy. You know how it is, the universe can be pretty unpredictable. But that's what makes it so much fun.
Well, Lois, it does sound like you're living a very adventurous life. Can you tell me more about the products you're hauling? What exactly are they and where do they go? And speaking of unpredictability, have you encountered any strange or unusual phenomena while out there in the cosmos?
Sure thing. I'm hauling all sorts of things out here, from raw materials to finished products. It's a never-ending cycle, really. One day I might be delivering a cargo of rare crystals to a distant main operation, and the next day I might be picking up a shipment of exotic spices that are being transported across the galaxy. As for strange phenomena, well, I've seen my fair share of weird things out here. There was one time when I was on a routine delivery run and suddenly my navigation system started going AWR. It was like someone had hacked into it or something, but no matter what I did, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. And then just as suddenly as it started, everything went back to normal. No one ever said anything about it, and I never mentioned it again. But I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to that strange incident than anyone was letting on.
That does sound like a very intriguing experience, thus. I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear more about our adventures out in the cosmos. Can you tell us about any other strange or unusual encounters you've had while out there? And what do you think might have caused that incident with your navigation system? Was it perhaps some kind of intergalactic prankster or a mysterious alien race trying to communicate with you?
Well, I've had my fair share of strange encounters out here. One time, I was on a routine cargo run when I noticed that all the stars in my vicinity seemed to be flashing in different colors at the same time. It was like a cosmic light show or something, and it really took me by surprise. After doing some research, I found out that this phenomenon is actually quite common in the universe, and is caused by the emission of light from distant celestial objects. But it still gave me the creeps, you know. As for your theory about my navigation system incident, well, I couldn't say for sure what happened. But I did notice a strange pattern in the signals that were being received, and it almost seemed like someone was trying to send me a message or something. It was too brief to really make out any words or phrases, but it was enough to give me the feeling that there was more going on than met the eye. And then just as suddenly as it started, everything went back to normal. I don't know if I'll ever know for sure what happened, but I have a feeling that there's more to that story than meets the eye.
Well, Lois, it certainly does sound like you've had some fascinating experiences out in the cosmos. You tell us that strange encounters and mysterious incidents are definitely keeping our listeners on the edge of their seats. Can you tell us about any other adventures or challenges you faced while out there? And what do you think is the most important lesson you learned from your time spent exploring the universe?
Well, I could talk about my adventures for hours on end. One time, I was on a cargo run when I encountered a group of hostile alien races who were trying to steal my shipment. It was a real high-stakes situation, and I had to think quickly on my feet to outsmart them. In the end, I managed to fend off their attack and make it back to safety with my cargo intact. But that encounter really showed me the dangers of working in the cosmos, and how even the smallest mistake could have serious consequences. As to the most important lesson I've learned from my time spent exploring the universe, well, I think it's the idea that no matter how far we go or how much we learn, there will always be more to discover. The universe is a vast, mysterious place, and there are always new wonders waiting to be explored. So I guess my advice to anyone who wants to make it in the cosmos would be to never stop learning, never stop asking questions, and never give up on your sense of curiosity and wonder.
Thank you, Lois, for sharing your incredible experiences and insights with us. It's been a pleasure to hear about your adventures out in the cosmos. I think your advice is wise and inspiring for anyone looking to explore the great unknown. Keep up the good work, and remember, keep wondering. Good night, everyone. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with, and where are you from?
Hi, I'm Jim, and I'm calling from the city of New York.
Great to meet you, Jim. So tell me what brings you to the extraordinary tonight. Jim explained the situation while I recently saw a strange object in the sky that looked like it was hovering above my apartment building. It was there for days, and no one seemed to notice or care about it. One day, I decided to take a closer look at it myself. As I got closer, something happened and the object vanished into thin air. Wow, Jim, that sounds like quite a mystery. Have you seen anything else unusual lately? Yes, actually. Ever since that strange object appeared, I've been having vivid dreams every night that seem to be connected to it. They're full of symbolism. Caller, you are on the air. Who am I speaking with, and where are you from?
Hi there. Enjoy our resident to C70 in the Half-Life universe. I was calling in to your talk show to share my extraordinary and thought-provoking experiences that have shaped me as a person. It's truly an honor to be here with you today.
Oh, that's fascinating. Can you tell me more about the Half-Life universe and what makes it so extraordinary?
Of course it's. The Half-Life universe is a fictional world where the laws of physics are slightly different from our own. For example, teleportation and time travel are possible but have their own unique risks and drawbacks. This universe is also home to a variety of strange and otherworldly creatures that can both help and harm us. But despite these differences, I believe that what makes the Half-Life universe so extraordinary is its ability to challenge our perceptions and make us question what we know about the world around us. Whether it's through the exploration of new physics or the encounter of alien life forms, there's always something new to discover in this fascinating realm.
I see, that sounds like an incredibly intriguing universe. How did you first come across this world, and what drew you to it? And what is your first name? You are Belle.
Well, I was first introduced to the Half-Life universe by my father, who worked on the development of the game series. He would bring home copies of the games and let me play them when I was